Hello, my name is Adam Smith and I'm an insurance broker with Central Agencies. Last week I said I was going to be doing some videos on Strata insurance in BC, factors that are leading to increases in rates. And so, some people have been asking me, why are you doing these videos or these clips? And ultimately, this is why. A lot of British Columbians live in stratas. A lot of people have been reading in the news, the rates are going up, deductibles are tripling, and most British Columbians live on a fixed income. When strata fees or levies or assessment are being passed down, this can provide a great level of stress on these households, and I'm acutely aware of that. And I would like to create some conversations and talk about some higher level factors driving the increases from the insurance standpoint. But at its very essence, I want people to take ownership of educating themselves as to how stratas operate. And insurance is just a component of that. And so if there's anything that I can do to help in that regard, if anyone has questions, post them in the below comments here. Certainly, most of my experience comes from working with a number of smaller stratas from an insurance standpoint. I've had a lot of conversations with brokers, insurance executives, and insurance underwriters that do a lot of bigger strata. Also, there's an excellent resource just down. Look in the comments here. The Insurance Brokers Association, Chuck Byrne and Judy Lancelin helped release this 23-page guide to assessing exposure. Excellent document. Feel free to share that with any of your clients, whatever profession you're in, or maybe it might be useful for yourself. It's an excellent resource. Take a look at that. So, without further ado, what are the factors leading to strata rates going up in the way that we're seeing? Ultimately, it's losses. Okay, so both in the frequency and severity. So that's the number of claims that stratas are facing, as well as the how large the claims are, mostly being water and fire damage. An insurance company that one of Canada's largest insurance companies that also are heavily invested in the strata space. They went on record in a broker magazine last week, and the CEO said, over the last 5 years, we've experienced a 111.6% loss ratio. Needless to say, this particular insurance company is reporting they haven't been earning, they've been losing in strata insurance. A lot of other insurance companies reporting the same thing. Rates are obviously going up sharply. Deductibles are going up. Is that going to help balance? I sure hope so. I think so. I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know at what point the scales will be tipped. But I want to talk about some other factors here too. So the insurance market capacity. So like I was saying, a lot of other insurance companies have stepped out of writing strata historically. They saw that rates were, not at a level that they were comfortable with. They weren't comfortable with the exposure and the high values associated to some of these stratas. And ultimately, the number of players providing capacity or the supply has shrunk, putting more stress on the existing insurers to then pick up that capacity. So that's been a huge aggravating factor. Aging infrastructure. The Strata Title Act in 1966 brought about this common ownership structure that we know strata corporations. Buildings were popping up in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Ultimately, a lot of these stratas are aging. So, repairs and maintenance are huge expenditures on the boiler systems, the piping, the wiring, the roofs. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Are stratas adequately maintaining the buildings? Do they have funds and reserves to pay for those expenditures based on the depreciation reports? Does your strata have a depreciation report? A lot of strata managers, I'm sure, talking about this and working with strata councils to, think ahead. Because what's happened is there's certain claims that are happening on an insurance standpoint where it could have been a repair or maintenance issue. Should that roof have been replaced 5 years ago that resulted in a flood or a whole bunch of water coming in through the roof. And so that's an huge aggravating factor. Strata's only been around since 1966. Investment income. Insurance companies make money through two different means, typically. The premium dollars that they bring in, and then they take that money and invest in investment. When interest rates are as low as they are, like, insurance companies are not seeing the returns on their investment to what they historically were seeing. Interest rates are near zero, and so that's also putting some stress on insurance companies' ability to generate alternative incomes, so therefore rates needing to go up from that. Catastrophic losses. In Canada, there has been a disproportionate number of large, severe weather-related losses. Think of Fort McMurray. Think of the hailstorm that Calgary experienced. Flooding in Quebec. There's so many events that have happened in the last 10 years, severe weather-related wise. It's been, insurance companies typically only prepare for these severe weather every handful of years. But in the last 10 years, it's been pretty close to annually some event that's paying out more than $1 billion in claims. And so that's put further stress. Reinsurance. Insurance companies buy insurance on their insurance, believe it or not. So when an earthquake hits Japan or Christchurch or a massive wildfire in California, insurance companies buy insurance on their insurance through reinsurers. And it can run multiple layers deep. But those global catastrophes ultimately find its way in what insurance companies in Canada are paying for their reinsurance. Those reinsurance rates have been going up. In BC, we have a unique exposure, the big one, earthquake. We've all been, hearing about it. But insurance companies are acutely aware of their earthquake exposure, and they're charging for it in BC. Other provinces don't have to worry about that to the same degree that BC does, because we're especially in the southwestern British Columbia. And then lastly, wanted to just mention, the insurance industry in general is going through something called a hard market. A lot of people are looking for a better deal on their insurance. And underwriters are being inundated with quote requests. And sometimes people are able to find a better deal in some circumstances, but very often brokers are going back to clients and saying, well, this is sort of what the market is bearing for this particular class of business. Not every class of business is seeing large rate increases, but a lot are. And it's cyclical. But right now, it's just so happens that the insurance industry is already in a hard market. And so it's sort of like the perfect storm of things that are driving the rates up. I think that, ultimately my advice is, become educated in Strata, commit to learning how it operates, talk to an insurance broker, sit on your Strata council, talk to a property manager. Let's all become educated. Let's spark some conversations. If anyone has questions, just throw them in the comments, and thanks so much.